Hi guys, welcome back to another week of child safety. This is our third session and this is going to be room and mobility safety. So we are going to be talking about household safety around the ages of 0 to 6 years old. And with room and mobility safety, I really want to focus on learning the different kinds of hazards with each stage of development and planning for the next stage. We're going to be talking about child safety from 0 to 6 months, 1 to 3 years old, 3 to 5 years old, and 5 plus, so around 5 to 9, just because I feel like it kind of touches on a little bit of everything and it's very good to know. As well as when we are talking about household safety, always be prepping and planning for the next stage, so that way when children do reach that stage, we're not overwhelmed and there's not a bunch of different hazards for them to get into and get harmed on. Just to start off with the very basics, so with child safety overall, regardless of development, it's always important to have baby gates in rooms where there's stairs and or rooms that are off limits. If you have a room with maybe a pet or a room with a lot of breakables or a lot of electronics, or to block off the kitchen, those are very important because those prevent a lot of hazards as well. And we want to make sure that if we do have baby gates up, that if the child is at a stage of development where they're able to walk, so maybe around 12 months or 3 and up, that they're able to not pull on the gate and the gate come back on them and they were to fall. So if they're on the top of the stairs trying to pull on the gate, that they're not able to fall down the stairs, or the gate's not able to fall on them, trapping them under the gate. So we just want to make sure that if we do have gates up, that they are very secure. They do have some that screw into the wall, and those are the safest if a child is known to pull or push on the gate. Also, we want to make sure that we have tools, kitchen tools, anything that the child can crush their fingers or injure their eyes on. These could be things like tongs, toys that have batteries in the back. If that compartment is loose, they could take them out, and then you have a swallowing hazard with batteries. So we just want to make sure that when we do have toys and accessories that are out, that everything is kind of secure, because once a child gets playing and they start hitting on things or they start exploring things with their hands to get that sensory aspect, there can be the risk of choking and swallowing. So any toys that have extra bits, we just want to make sure are very secure. Another tip for toys is that if the child is around 5 and under, if it can fit into a toilet paper roll, like an empty toilet paper roll, that means a toy is likely too small for the child, and that it does prevent a choking hazard. Even if they are a little bit older and aren't necessarily putting the toys in their mouth as much for that sensory to explore their surroundings, it's always the best idea to make sure that if the toy can fit into a toilet paper roll, it's most likely a little too small for that age of development, and we just want to make sure that the toys are likely size so that if it does go into their mouth or if something were to happen, that it's not a choking hazard. So that's always a good tip and trick, as toilet paper rolls are usually on hand. Electrical outlets, cords, and cords from blinds, curtains, or drapes that wrap around to keep them shut, and small objects that can be swallowed. We just want to be making sure that any electrical outlets are covered with the protectors. So there is some protectors in our kits, and this is just because more often than not, kids like to go exploring for their surroundings. It's more so around 1 to 3, as that's when the children are a little bit more mobile, but it can happen as little as 6 to 12 months because the child is crawling, they're roaming around. The outlets are usually at the level for the child. So at that point, children can often poke things in there, try to shove toys in there, anything in that leads to electrocution, and it puts children at risk. So we just want to make sure that any and all electrical outlets are covered. Same with cords, because if they get wrapped around the children's neck, if they get touched in a certain way, if the cord is connected, it can lead to electrocution. There's a lot of hazards that do come with cords. The same thing goes with the string to the blinds and the drapes, because it can lead to the airways being cut off. That's a hazard, so we just want to make sure that those are tucked away or that they're wrapped around with either an elastic band or any kind of tie, just to make sure that the cord is secure and wrapped up, so that way if a child does start playing with it, it's a little bit harder to come undone and prevent that hazard. And small objects that can be swallowed, so again, this goes with toys or anything laying around the house. So it can be little things on the floor, it can be, oh, maybe a coin was dropped on the ground, or things that are hidden under the couch. These things can cause a lot of hidden hazards and often lead to children swallowing them and choking hazards. An overall safety list for the home, so we just want to be making sure that we have safety gates up for rooms, that electrical cords are covered, that cords for drapes and cords for any kind of cord really is wrapped up nice and tight and stored away, and that there is no loose pieces or loose things around for children to swallow. Those are the top concerns for home safety. The concerns for children who are newborn to 6 months old are falling off of beds and couches and change tables, as children like to roll around. This often happens after tummy time. Children just get excited, they start crying, they start wailing, they're exploring their bodies. They don't know how to really express their feelings yet, so a lot of that comes out in body movement, which can cause in a lot of falls. So we just want to make sure, again, that we have gates up, that children are on safe surfaces, and that if there is a falling hazard, that the child will be safe, so not putting them maybe too high up in case something were to happen. We just always want to be making sure. The second safety concern for newborn to 6 months is choking and suffocating, which again, pretty much child-proofing your home and mobility safety. There is going to be a whole list of sheets in our kits, as well as a safety kit for our homes, and numbers to contact if there is a risk of danger and anything happening. So this has been room and mobility safety, and I really hope you guys enjoyed it and learned a thing or two or took something from it. If you have any extra tips for future sessions or for future workshops, I would love to hear them. Comment below your favorite tips and tricks for child-proofing your home, because again, making our community a little safer and our homes a little safer is always a great thing. So I hope this hasn't been too overwhelming, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. So that's it. I will see you guys next week for first aid kits and fever safety. So bye guys, have a great one.